Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it right here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. We got a great show for you today, and if you want to call in, 323-870-3857. And we're going to get started with who I believe, Notorious VC also believes, is the pound-for-pound champion. It's not NUA. It's not Crawford, baby. Let me tell you what. He did a number last night. And if you guys didn't know, Beep, do you know where Jake Paul is from?
Unfortunately, I do. He's from your neck of the woods, Ohio.
Titletown, baby, Ohio. That's where he's from. That's how you know. I mean, you're talking about a pound for pound. I think, and you tell me if I'm wrong, Beep, if he's not one or two, I believe that he deserves to be on that pound for pound list. Realistically, I think he deserves to be on that pound for pound list.
Like
what are your thoughts?
The pound for pound misfits list that they have like on DAZN, those misfits fights.
Stop it. The pound for pound. I'll tell you what. If Jake Paul fought Naoya Inoue, my money's on Jake Paul. Right? And I don't care how small Inoue is. Doesn't matter. Last night on DAZN, baby. Titletown's own Jake Paul. Got nothing but winners here, baby. Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz at 185 pounds. Listen, that's not Jake Paul's weight. That ain't Jake Paul's weight. He's heavier than that. See him? He's a big guy. And he did Nate Diaz a favor. Number one, by giving him a payday. But number two, by putting him out of his misery. Jake Paul, unanimous decision, Beeb. I mean, this fight was clearly one-sided. 97-92, 98-91 twice. Diaz was knocked down in the fifth round. But he did have his moments. The fight, the fight kind of went like I thought it would. I thought Jake would win again because he's active in this. You know what I mean? He's having fights. He's active. It's hard to beat. Again, man, logic in this, is so skewed when they think, Nate's going to come in there and knock him out and stuff. That's not going to happen because Nate's not a boxer. Nate boxes, but he's not a boxer. Jake Paul is a full-time boxer. This is what he does. And I will tell you, man, he looks better. His conditioning looked much better than it had in the past. His conditioning looked good. I thought he looked good, man. I did. Somebody said he needed new trainers. Listen, man, I think so too. I don't hate that idea. I'd like to see some different looks from him. Maybe set things up a little bit better, But overall, he did good. And overall, Nate Diaz did okay, too. I thought Nate Diaz did pretty good. A lot of people had the fight closer than what it was, but I think most people had Jake Paul winning.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Beeb, did you buy this fight?
No, I didn't watch it. I watched it like on YouTube.
I caught it after the fact, you know what I mean? But I didn't. I wasn't really interested. I got to be honest. I wasn't real interested in this fight. There was nothing after watching Errol Spence, last week, him and Crawford, and then we go to this.
The step down.
It doesn't do anything for me. I tell you what, it
does
really
nothing.
Doesn't.
Nothing for me.
Does absolutely squat for me. I'm real curious to see what the pay-per-view numbers are on here.
Yeah, I don't think
I think that will tell the tale.
I mean, they did have it on at the casino when I was walking around last night.
Yeah.
And I didn't end up, like I told you before, my friend was tired, so I didn't end up staying the whole card because the main event didn't go off till like what, 11:45?
Oh, it was almost midnight.
Yeah, my friend was getting tired, so we just left, and then I ended up just watching.
Yeah,
some of it this morning, some of the highlights, and just
It was terrible.
I couldn't even sit there and watch the whole fight, to be honest with you. I just wasn't into it, man. Like I said, the novelty is worn off on these types of fights. You know, I don't know, what would you call these types of fights? These YouTuber fights, these
crossover fights. Yeah, crossover fights. You know,
I'm just not into these fights anymore.
You know, listen, man. If you're serious about it, and which he claims he is, and he's trained.
Yeah.
You know, and he's trained. Start fighting real guys. If that's the route you want to go, get on another card. Start fighting real dudes. You know, Nick Diaz, and not to mention Nate Diaz is just shot. He's a shot fighter. You know what I mean? He is.
I mean, I give Jake Paul credit for training hard, putting in the work, but at the end of the day, are you really going to get better by fighting 40-year-old MMA guys?
Well, I think that's the other thing too. Yeah, you got to, you know, if you really want to make a go at this, you got to fight better opposition. You know, the best opposition he fought was Tommy Fury, who was a boxer, and he lost.
Yeah.
I thought he won the fight. I think the fight was close, but
I thought Tommy beat him.
I couldn't complain that Tommy Fury won.
Yeah, I thought Tommy edged him.
Yeah, you know, and I thought Paul got him, but it doesn't matter because it was, you know, listen,
it was a good fight. Yeah, it wasn't a bad fight.
It wasn't crazy.
It's a decent fight.
Fight somebody like that. You know, get your skills up. I mean, you know, are you going to be able to not listen? Of course you're going to be able to knock out, you know, and win against guys that don't do this every day. Just like if we put you in the cage with somebody who does it every day, you're not going to beat them.
No, not at all.
You know, I mean, it's just, that's the way it is.
It's the way it is.
Boxing says, in my opinion, Jake Paul is better than Ryan Garcia. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Much better. God. Much better skill, much more skilled than Ryan Garcia. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not gonna go there.
Sal Lavras, Canelo in the house here. He says his audience doesn't mind and he will keep milking it. Well, I think the well is, I don't know. And maybe I'm off base here. I'm not sure if that well is running dry or not. We'll find out with those pay-per-view numbers.
Yeah.
We'll see what they say. That's a big deal. You know, we just had two pay-per-views here. You know, you had that UFC pay-per-view. You had that Crawford Spence last week. And then to ask people to go in pocket again to pay for this.
No.
That's a big, you know, it's bad timing. It's a bad sell. Just like last week with the Crawford Spence, it was a bad timing to go up against the UFC. That's a marquee fight. You don't want to go up against anybody. You want that standing alone. That is your Saturday right there. You know, and you don't want competition when it comes to pay-per-view. That's just kind of the rule of it, you know.
I don't know.
So yeah, but the catch weight was 185. Jake Paul looked good, but again, he's fighting a guy who doesn't box, you know. And Jake Paul, listen, when I say he looked good, he won the fight. You know, as far as what he's going to do next and everything like that, I don't know. I don't really care. The novelty has kind of worn off for me anyway. It's not, you know, I'm not going to go out of my way to watch it. I didn't watch it last night. You know, it just didn't interest me. No. Because like I said, Nate Diaz, again, did he have a chance? Yeah, he had a chance, but I knew Nate Diaz was like worn, you know. He hasn't looked the same. I mean, he hadn't looked the same since he fought Masvidal. He looked bad in that fight. So what is this guy going to do to him? You know what I mean?
He's almost 40 years old, man.
He's popular. But he looked like he didn't even want to be there last night. You know?
He's didn't seem like overly enthused and pumped up for the fight, you know?
Yeah. Well, did you see that face-off they had, that little show they do with, I guess Alwani was there, and they were interviewing Jake Paul, and Nate's just like bouncing in his chair and kind of looking around, and next thing the thing just started. All of a sudden, he got up, and he was like, I'll be back, and just left. He just boated out of there and got in a truck and left. I'm like, what?
Oh, wow.
I'm like, what? You know, like, who does this, you know? So, and it could be, you know, they're not the best people to promote a fight with. You know, the Diaz and, you know, they're not the best people to promote a fight with because, you know, they're a little out there. You know?
Yeah. You never know what they're going to do.
Yeah. You don't know if he's going to show up. You don't know if he's going to miss a flight. You don't know you just don't know. It's like, you know, it's kind of like having, what's that guy's name? The heavyweight that we, Big Baby.
Asim Rockman Jr., Big Baby Miller. Yeah.
Yeah. Big Baby Miller. Yeah. One of those type of, you know, where it's like, you never know, like I would never put my hard-earned money out there to promote those guys because you don't know what's going to happen.
Never know.
You just don't. You
always have to have a backup opponent on hand.
Oh, for sure.
Just in case.
And then you have on the undercard, we had, Serrano and Heather Hardy again.
Oh,
because
ridiculous.
that first fight didn't leave it. We were all wondering what would happen if they had a second fight. That was another whitewash fight, an absolute nothing fight.
And then
nothing.
And then during the press conference, she's like, well, they asked her, why are you fighting Heather Hardy? And she goes, well, Heather Hardy, she deserves a 6-figure payday. So I want to be happy to give that to her. And it's like, so you're basically admitting that you're just doing your friend a solid, that that she has no chance of winning. That this isn't really a competitive fight. You're basically just giving your friend a free payday, basically, because
you're taking a free payday as well.
Yeah,
because honestly, that she's not going to beat you.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, she got busted up. She gets busted up in all her fights. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, she's got to think about what she wants to do because she's up there too, man. She's closing in on 40.
Yeah, listen,
I think she is 40 actually. Yeah,
didn't she have an OnlyFans or something like that? Like, you're not going to be able to do OnlyFans forever. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just that whole DAZN thing with this whole thing. It's like, come on, man. Like it's run its course. I think it's run its course. But hey, if fans showed up at the gate, if fans bought it, then we're gonna get it again. And what are you gonna do?
It was painful.
The rest of that undercard was awful. I don't even remember who was on it. I don't even care. The ESPN card. Did you see this on ESPN Plus? Because this is a fight I didn't even catch. I got the result, but I didn't even catch the fight. It was supposed to be in Panama or something like that. Derek Cuevas versus Alberto Mosquera. Cuevas wins by 4th round TKO.
This one kind of flew under the radar. No one was really interested in this one.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Champ Life said Serrano 300,000 and Hardy got 150,000. They earned every dollar.
Well, good for them.
I am Dwayne this time, says Eric Lorda. You subscribe to Heather Hardy's OnlyFans.
It's funny.
I got to support the boxers. What am I going to do? You guys want me to support the women boxers. I go and support them, and now why? I'm the bad guy now because I got on her OnlyFans? No way.
What's funny? A lot of people think that all those girls make a ton of money. There's only like a small percentage of women on OnlyFans that really make big money on there.
There's only one way to make money on OnlyFans, and you know what it is. If you're a girl, you know exactly what it is, and that's what they do. Yeah. There you go. That's it.
Over the top.
Get naked. Get naked. That's it. If you're not naked, you're not getting paid, son. That's the way it is. That's the way it is, Jack.
Please.
That's right. That's how it is. All right. And that was the action for this weekend. I mean, it's stark contrast to what happened last weekend.
Yeah, slim pickings this week.
Yeah, right?
Night and day, huh?
Oh, my gosh. All right, so coming up here, August 12th from Glendale, Arizona on ESPN, Emmanuel Navarrete versus Oscar Valdez, 12 rounds for Navarrete's WBO junior title. Raymond Murtala versus Diego Torres, 10 rounds lightweights. And Richard Torres Jr. versus Willie Jake Jr., 10 rounds heavyweights. Richard Torres, of course, is the Olympian. And I'm really anxious to see him.
Yeah.
I'm anxious to see him. I always like when the Olympians start making noise. Help me out. Who was the super heavyweight boxer who beat Richard Torres?
Oh,
and he's like 10-0 now or something like that.
I'm trying to think.
What was that guy's name? Because he's still undefeated too, and that guy's a monster. I can't remember who it is. Just the name escapes me. But somebody in the chat help me out. August 12th from Oxon Hill, Maryland. Showtime, Emmanuel Rodriguez versus Melvin Lopez, 12 rounds for the vacant IBF bantamweight title. Trayvon Marshall versus Gabriel Mastre, 10 rounds welterweights. Gary Antoine Russell versus Kent Cruz, 10 rounds junior welterweights. Not a bad card. I like the cards from Maryland. They usually produce pretty good. They usually got some pretty good fights on there. And is that like a casino down there? Is that what's going on?
I believe so.
I was going to say, yeah, because they get a lot of good fights down there, and I didn't know Maryland was really that big of a fight town, you know.
So they're saying the heavyweight is Jalalov. Yeah.
That's him.
Yeah, he's doing really good.
Thank you, Ryan and Kadali. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Jalalov. That guy is really good. That guy
he can punch, that kid.
Really talented, too. It's not just like he's a one-trick pony. That guy can box.
Very well schooled, yeah.
Yeah, very well schooled. And that is it for the upcoming weekend. So, yeah, there you go. That's the weekend, man. Not a whole lot. Let's see. Not a whole lot to look forward to, but definitely some good fights. Actually, both of those are really good fights. Other than Navarrete Valdez fight is good. They got a good undercard there, too. You got Emmanuel Rodriguez fighting. That's a good fight.
Good card, man.
Decent card. So, yeah, we got some good stuff to look forward to next weekend. Notorious, touche. You're the king of Maryland. You should know about the fights there, Eric. Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. You know, I'm busy. I'm a busy guy. I'm the king of Ohio. I'm in Titletown. I've got a lot of stuff going on. There you go. All right, let's talk about the news this week, B, because this one, there's a lot of news this week. A lot of strange stuff going on here.
Yeah.
Where do we start? Let's start with Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte, for all you guys who don't know, tested positive. Did it ever come out what he tested positive for? I just heard an adverse VADA test or something like that.
I mean, free Dillian Whyte, man. He's innocent. I'm getting tired of this VADA.
Isn't this third time?
Well,
isn't this his third time?
One time it was like when he was in kickboxing. The second time he was cleared because he was taking Jack 3D that you can go buy at GNC.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just getting sick of this stuff,
well,
guys.
Why is that okay though? That's still not okay. Just because you can buy it over the counter. Remember you could buy Androstine Dion over the counter.
Yeah, but I have a different theory on stimulants, man. I mean, if you're taking them when you're training, as long as like the WADA protocol says you can't take them in competition, which is 11:59 the night before the competition, 11:59 p.m. VADA has their own protocol. They don't follow WADA, right? They're different than USADA and everyone else who goes by the WADA protocol.
Yeah.
To me, I just have questions about VADA. Like, why is it only them catching people? And when they do catch people, it's always like the last 2 weeks before the fight, and then it gets announced like days within the fight. And it's always for like a fertility drug, a nasal spray, a freaking blood pressure medicine, a heart medicine. I'm like, these people seem to me like they're trying to make a name for themselves. They're trying to go out of their way to be the dog catcher here. Maestro and I talked about this earlier. They remind me of the cop that hides behind the bush with the speed gun and pulls people over going like 58 in the 55. Like, name another sport that uses VADA. And now even with the Conor Ben situation, right?
Right.
Trace amounts, adverse findings. Now they're questioning, right? I guess it came out that after the experts and so-called medical expert scientists, looked at the whole case, the whole situation, they're saying because of that such the small amount that was in there in that sample, they're thinking that the sample was tainted. So I'm saying to myself,
well, couldn't they tell by the B sample?
I don't know, because they look at. I mean, it's the same.
Had the trace amounts in it, then you took it.
But here's the thing: are they really like the gold standard? Because they're the cheapest agency. Like they're like half the price of USADA. And the UFC uses USADA. Mayweather used to use USADA. The Olympics use USADA. The Pan American Games use USADA. Like, who uses VADA besides the WBC, right? So I'm just wondering, right? How good are they at collecting these samples? That's what I want to know.
I don't think they're doing this on purpose or waiting to bust anybody. I don't think they care. I really don't. I don't think they care. But I think they send these. They don't even know who the test belongs to.
This is my question, because they're the cheapest organization, right?
Yeah.
That they don't have they're not heavily funded, right?
Right.
And then you got Victor Conti as their spokesman, right? Who's a guy who just wants to clout chase and put his name out there so he could sell his supplements. That's what he wants to do. And he wants to promote his website, whatever, right? All I'm saying is this. You know, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist. I know you're already, you know, thinking about like, oh, here goes Beeb again down his rabbit
hole.
But here's the thing.
Foil hat on, and you know,
it's just funny to me that you got one like a guy will pass like in the instance of Dillian Whyte, in the instance of Conor Benn, they'll pass the UCOD tests, right? And you know, they'll pass all the other tests, but the one test that comes up positive is the VADA test.
Yeah.
So how good are they? How reputable are they? Because if they're, think about this, they're like the bargain basement of the organizations in comparison to everyone else. So if they don't have the funding, right? How good are their employees? How good are they at collecting the samples? You know, are they doing a good job? Are some of these samples getting tainted? Because again, trace amounts, tainted, adverse findings.
I mean, how do you taint that? No matter. Okay, so I don't know what the substance was, and I haven't heard it come out yet. What the substance absolutely was. Do you think they're tainted? Do you think it could be tainted? You know what I'm saying?
It's quite possible.
Is it possible? Yes, but what's more likely? This is his third time being popped for this. Popped for something, some illegal substance, 3 times.
I don't know.
So what does that tell you? What does that tell you?
Well, the second time he was cleared because it was from Jack 3D.
And not only that, okay, what about all the other fighters that don't test positive? And you always seem to have the same ones popping up. John Jones, you know, you got, you know, Dillian Whyte. This is his 3rd time. Conor Benn, you know, and apparently
Oscar Valdez
forgiven him, but you know,
Oscar Valdez had a
Canelo.
friggin' had a drug phentermine that doctors prescribed to middle-aged, like some of these drugs that they're coming up positive for.
Yeah,
it's like Lance Armstrong is not going to take this stuff trying to win the Tour de France, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I just think that there's something fishy about like heart medicine, the nasal spray with Billy, and I don't like VADA's policy. They have zero tolerance policy, right, for stimulants. Once again, a stimulant during training, okay, if you're tired one day, it'll give you a boost. That's fine. But if you're taking stimulants during your training camp and you can't take them before the competition, you're not getting a benefit. Now you could say, "Oh, Beeble, what about you're getting them through training?" Yeah, but that's not going to really give you a significant advantage if you're not taking it during, like, right before the fight. So, like, it seems to me that because they're not following the WADA protocol, that they're trying to set a standard where they're catching more people, so they could say, "Look how much better we are at the testing." And
see, I don't see that. I'll be honest, I don't see that. I don't see that. You know, here's my thing. My thing is like, you know, you look at, say, Big Baby Miller was the one that was caught, but you always see, and you'll see something. You brought up a good point about the what is it, like the fertility substances or whatever, stuff like that. Those are masking agents too, and that's the other thing we had talked about. Remember with the steroids, and then you have the masking agents on top of that. Yes,
I hate to cut you off, but I want to make a great point. This is what fucking kills me, and you tell me if I'm off base here. So you love when I preface it with "tell me if I'm off base," because you know I'm gonna be off base
coming out here. You know, like, you know, it's like.
But think about this. So you're gonna take an illegal substance to mask another illegal substance. That's like taking the gun at a murder scene with your fingerprints on it and replacing it with another gun.
Okay, you know what? I misspoke. Not necessarily a masking agent, but I'll give you an example. When you take testosterone, you have to take an estrogen blocker with it, because when your testosterone goes up,
I understand
your estrogen goes up, okay? So if you test positive for that estrogen blocker, I'm going to ask you, to me, that's a masking agent in the sense that, hey, we didn't find any steroids in you. We didn't find any, you know, anything going on in your system, but we found this, you know, estrogen blocker here. Why are you taking that? Why would any normal guy?
That's what I'm saying. That? Why would Conor Benn take a fertility drug?
Because he's masking it. He's on drugs.
Yeah,
he's on steroids.
And then there's just
and that wouldn't. And you know what? And that guy is coming up in weight, so that wouldn't make sense.
Here's another thing: if you are cycling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you take a substance 2 weeks before your event? See that it doesn't add up to me.
Because like they're stupid.
I just don't think
they're stupid.
I don't think they're that
People
dumb.
who break the law are stupid.
I don't think Conor Benn. I'm going to be honest with you. Conor Benn's innocent. My opinion. That's why he was cleared. And if Dillian Whyte,
well, he was cleared. He was cleared. Listen, man.
And if Dillian Whyte needs some assistance, Beeb Industries will offer up our legal team to help you out. I'm behind Dillian Whyte 100%. I think he's innocent, just like Conor Benn.
100%.
I'm behind him. Free Dillian Whyte. Free him. Let him out.
It doesn't matter that he was popped 2 other times.
He was cleared one time. The other time was a long time ago in a kickboxing association. Who knows what they were doing down there. So
clearly he's open to the idea of using performance enhancement before a fight. I'm just saying. It sounds like he's open to it.
I mean, I could be in a hyperbaric chamber. That's a performance enhancer. I could hire a nutritionist. That's a performance enhancer. I mean,
but it's not illegal.
I know, but I get it.
That's the one big, that's the big thing here is that it's illegal. I'm just saying.
Again, I'm not going to condemn someone because they're taking ripped fuel or Jack 3D or a nasal
because it's illegal.
Or a nasal spray.
It's illegal.
Or heart
It's up to
heart medicine.
How difficult? Let me ask you a question. If you're going in for $1 billion payday, okay, it's more money than you've made. It's a lot of money. If you're going in there, wouldn't you know everything that you're putting in? Like before you take a supplement, hey, here's my supplement I'm taking. I send this off to them. Is this okay to take?
That's why
is that what you would do? Is that what you would do?
I would, but I believe that's. I think in certain instances, I think some of these samples are tainted. Because if they're gonna,
how are they tainted? Like tainted with what? Okay, so he's tainted. So the sample gets tainted, which means basically there was a problem in the collection. There was a problem in the collection.
Correct.
But somehow it's tainted with clenbuterol or estrogen blockers or whatever. How?
Well, in the case with Canelo,
how is that possible?
In the case with Canelo, he did provide the hair follicle test, and they did do the investigation, and it was found Canelo was cleared.
He was suspended for 6 months,
pending an investigation. But he ended up being cleared because that at the same time of the Mexican soccer team was getting a lot of people in Mexico testing positive for clenbuterol due to meat consumption.
So do you think the Soviet Olympic team is that
wasn't VADA. That was
VADA. So they really did it. So.
That was their agency. That was their agency. UCOD, USADA. These are legitimate agencies. They're not like they're not the bargain basement of testing organizations like VADA. Ask yourself a question. Why doesn't the Olympics or the Pan American Games use VADA? Why doesn't the UFC use VADA? Why didn't the great
USADA is the best. USADA is the best for sure.
I'm rolling with USADA.
Well, I'd roll with USADA too. If USADA would test them, would the same test come out positive?
No. Much more thorough, better collection process, in my opinion.
So, what is the difference between the collection processes?
Well, if you're paying, if you don't have a lot, let me ask you a question. This is not to diminish people making a low wage. If you're gonna hire someone, right, to do work on your house, right, and they're charging you an incredibly low rate, well below market value, are you 100% confident that they're going to do a good job on the work on your house?
I mean, if I hire them, pending that you do your due diligence and everything like that, I would feel comfortable just depending on, again, your due diligence.
Would it be fair to say a higher quality product would serve you better and last you longer than a lower quality product?
A Mercedes should last you longer than a Pacer, yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
So guess what? USADA's the Mercedes and VADA is the Pacer. They're not even the Pacer. VADA's Yugo.
Oh, stop it.
What's
the matter with you?
I got a Toyota Yaris outside. I call
Those
that
are nice
I call that the Iron Woman because I like to name my things women.
Sure.
Women. So that I call her Betsy. She's an iron woman, right? That thing will last me for life. So she's the exception to the rule. I wouldn't trade her in for a friggin' Bugatti. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, so I don't know. And let me tell you now, and we laugh about this and everything like that, but here's the worst part of it, okay? Here's the worst part of it. So you sent me the Fight Hype video. Was it Fight Hype? I don't know. It was one of those.
Fight Hype, yeah.
Where they interviewed
Angel Heredia.
No, not Angel Heredia. I'm talking about the other guy. David.
David Hay.
David Hay.
I'm sorry.
Right. So he interviewed David Hay, and David Hay said he got a call last week from Derek Chisora saying that Dillian Whyte is not going to pass his drug test and that he may be next for AJ. They knew back then. So why wasn't this dealt with then? Why are they now scrambling for somebody to work with?
Once again, this is another problem with the VADA testing. I guess he tested positive 2 weeks ago, and then the results get released, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because of again, this is just my opinion. Because the process through the process, it seems to have taken a long time to get the results from the test. So the test was done. The sample was collected 2 weeks ago, and then they probably get the result like a couple of days, but like maybe a day before or 2 days before.
Yeah, I get that, but they knew about it last week.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
If they knew about it last week, then why the mad scramble?
It just seems shady. The whole thing seems shady.
The whole thing is always shady, and it's always shady with Hearn, and it just seems shady there.
Why is it always a week before the fight or days before the fight?
Days before
we find this out.
Yeah,
and again, I know you hate when I say this, but the guy will pass every other test, but lo and behold, comes up positive on the VADA test. Why is the least expensive test the one that's always catching everybody?
Pass what test though? What test did he pass to?
The UCOD test. They do UCOD tests and stuff over there.
The UCOD tests. Yeah.
So if that is been around for years,
if that is the pacer, so if VADA is the pacer, what exactly is the UCAD test?
BMW.
That's got to be like a bike or something like that, right?
Oh, they're a BMW.
If they're a BMW, yeah, they're okay. Yeah, right.
UCOD's very, very, very reputable.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. It's not UCOD, in my opinion. It's the British Boxing Board of Control.
Yeah.
They're the ones that seem, again, I don't want to get my citizenship revoked because I said this.
Sure.
But they seem to drop the ball. They're the ones that seem to drop the ball.
Somebody's dropping the ball here. And I mean, if the promoters know about it, if they knew last week, why, again, the whole thing just seems shady. It's always shady.
They didn't care either way, but credit to Hearn because he stacked the card with heavyweights. He had like Dempsey McKean on there. He had Derek Chisora on there. He had Gerald Washington on the card.
I didn't know Gerald Washington was still active.
Yeah, so Hearn's kind of savvy in that regard, where he'll put backup fighters on the card just in case like the main event falls through. And I'll tell you this: Derek Chisora and Anthony Joshua, not a great fight, but it'll sell in the UK. It'll sell in the UK.
Yeah, they like it. They like
Derek
both there.
Derek Chisora's got a name over there. Like they like him over there. And,
horrible fight.
And here's the thing.
Fight.
Here's the thing: if you are AJ and you trained and prepared for Dillian Whyte, Derek Chisora and Dillian Whyte do have comparable styles. They do have similar. They don't fight identically, but they do have like some similarities. They both like to fight on the inside. I would argue that Chisora is like a better combination puncher. He has more volume to him. But they both they both are aggressive and they like to come inside and fight you on the inside. So,
I mean, I wasn't interested in this fight either way, whether it's him or Chisora, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, Felipe Ergovich was the one that was thrown out there as well.
That ain't happening.
I don't think it will either.
That will not happen.
I don't think so.
Not with the Deontay Wilder fight waiting in the wings. That will never happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Not going to happen.
Yeah. Hey, listen, guys, if you're listening to us and you like what we're doing, man, hit the like button. It doesn't cost anything. Subscribe. That doesn't cost anything. In fact, it lets you know when we're on. Beeb has done, I don't know, like what, 50, 55 shows this week for us on this channel. Done a whole ton of shows, and he's always got good content on there. And even if you don't agree with us, we definitely make you think. Beeb definitely makes me think all the time. Thanks. So he just makes me rethink life choices.
I don't know what I'm making you think about. I may not always be making you think about good things, but I'm making you think.
Absolutely.
You're exercising your brain cells when you talk to me.
Absolutely. That's what I tell about you. I said that, you know, I may not agree with everything you say, but you always make me think about things you say, you know, because it comes up and like, oh, that's a logical thing. He's right. Well,
right
why?
now,
and then, you know,
after the things I told you about VADA, you may sell your stock in VADA right now.
No, I think I'm going to keep that. I think I'm going to keep that for a while. Isn't Margaret Goodman the one with VADA?
She's okay.
She's the one with VADA, right?
Yeah, she's one with VADA.
Yeah. That's what
she's a disgruntled employee, man. Ever since she's a
disgruntled employee.
She stopped working for the Nevada State Athletic Commission, so she's disgruntled. nice person, but I mean, she may have some ulterior motives.
Yeah, she's cold as an iceberg. I'll tell you that. I don't know. Yeah. So who do you think? So you think it's going to be Chisora and AJ? That's
I believe David. I believe David Hay. I mean, that's the best.
I believe him too. Opponent. So tell me what did Angel Heredia say? Because I didn't get a chance to watch that. What actually happened in that video?
He was basically saying that VADA, everyone thinks like VADA likes to present themselves like they're doing the harder, more stringent testing, but they're really not. In other words, and you know, basically that they're basically trying to sell themselves. Like they're trying to sell themselves.
Too. How much can you really put stock into what he says?
But
him and Conte both are cheaters. So I don't, you know, like the stuff he's put into these two guys is amazing.
No, I understand what you're saying, but I do think he makes a good point where, like, if they're both testing for the same things, like VADA and USADA, and they're both using the same labs, but one, like I said, one testing agency is twice the cost of the other. I just find it hard to believe that the one that's half the cost of the other is really going to be better than USADA. Like USADA's, like I said.
Sure. Listen, I mean, you get what you pay for. You get what you pay for.
Olympics. Yeah. So the whole thing of VADA being the gold standard, when the only sport that uses them is boxing, and the only sanctioning body that you got another corrupt you got Victor Conte pumping you up, right? Promoting you and being affiliated with you. And then you also have the WBC. Now, you do the math on that. How credible is Victor Conte and how credible is the WBC? You don't see the
I don't
Olympic,
think either one of them are that credible, I'll be honest with you.
That's what I'm saying. So you don't see VADA being used by anybody else except boxing, and they're only endorsed by the WBC. So what does that tell you? I just have questions.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
I
don't hate it. You know, I don't think that they're purposely sabotaging fights.
No, I'm not.
If anything,
saying that. Maybe
it would go the other route. You know, where it does test positive and they overlook it, but that's not the case.
Maybe they're just not really good at what they do. Maybe the quality of their collection is not the greatest.
This is why I always say, and it'll never happen, obviously, but it's kind of happening in college football where you see all the people going to like certain divisions and everything. All the other divisions are kind of breaking up.
Yeah.
If we had that that same UFC motto here, where everybody fought under one banner and that's that, and it's the same rules, it's the same everything. When we have a champion, we got a champion because everybody's fought each other. You know, I know it's pie in the sky and a pipe dream, but hey.
So
it's my little thing.
I would venture to think, and this is just me. It's just me suspecting. I do believe a lot of those UFC fighters probably do take stimulants during their training.
Yeah.
Right?
Everybody's cheating. Everybody's cheating at that level. I really believe that.
Well, but here's the thing. This is USADA's this is WADA's, theory, and I agree with WADA. Basically, they allow you to take the stimulants in training, but they don't allow you to take them in competition, the day of the competition. So I just think that VADA makes their testing so stringent because they're why would they not follow the WADA protocol like everyone else does? That's my only question. So if you're creating your own protocol, which helps you get more negative tests, right?
Yeah.
Then that just tells me that you're trying to maybe go out of your way to catch people by making it by making the rules even more stringent than they were before. And again, I stand on this. I don't believe it's a big deal if you're using stimulants during training, because if you can't use them during the fight, now the argument you can argue, oh, well, you're getting the benefit of training. Yeah. But if you're not using them during the fight and your body has gotten used to using them, just like anything else, you're going to crash. So it could be a detriment to you. But if you're taking a stimulant to get you through a hard training session because you may have been tired the night before, you may not have had a good night, whatever. Yeah. Right? You want to take something, I'm not against it. But guess who is against it? VADA.
Talking about Victor Conte, there's been some talking at like the snack. I forgot that he owns that snack corporation or whatever.
Yeah, he's trying to sell
has anybody ever taken those supplements? Has anybody taken those? Do they work? Are they better? Or I don't know. I haven't heard of anybody. I know people, they advertise it and everything like that, but I've never, I haven't paid too much attention as far as
I was reading the ingredients from one of his fat burners and one of his pre-workouts. And I told him, I said, some of the supplements you sell would give a fighter more of a stimulant boost than phentermine, right? And he goes, well, that's not the point. My supplements aren't illegal. And phentermine's not illegal during training, but it's in the WADA protocol, it would be illegal if you took it 24 hours before a competition. But because VADA has a different protocol, so that's what I'm saying. Like, why would your protocol be different than WADA's? Why, when everyone else follows WADA, but you just say we have zero tolerance, and then WADA also allows for certain amounts of substances, like of certain drugs, like they allow a specific limit. Not VADA. VADA's zero tolerance for everything, right? So again, like they leave no margin for error. They make it overly strict, in my opinion, because they want to go out of their way to catch people. They want to make it easier to catch people so they could sit there and say, look how good we are. We're better than everyone else because we're catching more people. We have a better system of testing. And all Heredia was saying was they're not doing anything different than USADA or anyone else, but they just frame it that they are, so they could market themselves as being better than everyone else when they're really not. In my opinion.
I think all companies do that, don't they, to an extent?
Oh,
McDonald's says they sell the best hamburgers.
Without question.
Ford sells the best cars, whatever.
I mean, this is the best podcast. I mean, we know that.
Well, that's a fact. That's not.
So, that goes without saying.
Yeah, I mean, come on, that's easy stuff. Hey, Dwayne brought up an interesting question here, and it says, how was Conor Ben cleared other than an announcement saying he was clear? Were there any details released?
He was. The British Border Control in UCOD cleared him. He's cleared.
He's cleared.
Yeah,
it wasn't just a statement by his camp. He's cleared.
Dillian Whyte was cleared for the time he had an issue. Right, he went before the British Border Control, and he was cleared the second time. The kickboxing thing, that's light years away. Who cares about that?
Yeah, it's like that he cheated in the kickboxing.
There's a statute of limitations on that.
Is that right?
Yeah. So
he's clearly open to cheating. You just don't believe he cheated the last two times.
He took Jack 3D. I mean, I'm not going to condemn the guy. I'm not going to stop talking to the guy because he took
his fault. But isn't that his fault though? He was supposed to read what's in there.
I understand, Derek.
And there's a database you can go to plug in these supplements.
But by the WADA protocol, he would not have been found guilty of testing positive because it was out of competition. So it wouldn't have mattered. That's what I'm trying to say. Because VADA has zero tolerance for any stimulant, regardless of when you take it.
Yeah.
And WADA and USADA do not. So they're making it like all the times he tested positive for something, it was stimulants. So that's all I'm saying. I don't have a problem with someone taking Jack 3D 3 weeks before a fight because they could.
Jack 3D?
It's like a
pre-workout.
Yeah, that's all it is.
I gotcha.
You've taken pre-workouts before. You're not knocking
Ghost is a really good one. Yeah, Ghost is a really good one.
You're not knocking people out, are you?
Well,
you're not a menace to society.
I'm getting knocked out.
They don't have a warning. They don't put a warning label on you. Dangerous, right?
No.
You don't have a skull. You don't have a skull and crossbones T-shirt. Walk around like the Punisher.
The Punisher,
right? You're not a menace to society because you took a pre-workout before. Why are we condemning people for taking pre-workouts?
5 hours.
Please.
There you go.
What is this world coming to? Billy Joe Saunders took a nasal spray because he was having problems breathing. And they cancel a fight.
The best thing was when I was talking to you about the pre-workout stuff. I was like, hey, have you ever tried Ghost, that pre-workout? Or have you ever tried this pre-workout or whatever? Beeb's answer to me was, no, I make my own. I was like, didn't you take like aspirin or something like that and like some coffee? I don't know what you did.
I take citrulline malate and I take 400 milligrams of caffeine. That's all I take. Stupid. All I take.
Beeb's like the mad chemist, son.
I can do 2 a day sometimes, even at 54 with the arthritic joints. If I put Robbie on my formula, he wouldn't be hanging around the house all day bothering Mrs. Herrick. He'd actually be out doing stuff, working out and doing what he needs to do.
Oh, that was cold-blooded, man. Why you do that like that? All right, let's move on here. Let's talk about by the way, White issued the statement saying that, he's basically not guilty.
He isn't guilty. He's innocent. He's innocent. Free Dillian Whyte.
All right. Spence Crawford last week, the pay-per-view numbers are in, kind of. 650,000, right around 650,000 pay-per-view buys. You can give or take 50,000 there, so it could be as high as 700, but not over that, it sounded like. So what did I say, 400,000? I said about 400,000. What did you say?
You said 300,000.
I said 400,000. I said 350 to 400. That's where it was going to be. What did you say it was going to be? Like 2? I think you said 2 million or something like that. Did you say 2 million?
No, I'm going to tell you the truth. I optimistically was saying 1 million, but deep down inside, I thought it was going to be like 800,000. So I was still wrong.
Yeah, but you were closer than I was. So 800,000. If you said 800, that's we were talking about this before the show. They were so stupid to have this fight when they did, and not a week earlier or a week later. Because they had it right on a UFC card. And you could say, well, UFC and boxing are different. Yeah, but they're both combat sports.
I know.
It's not like it was badminton playing on the other channel. This was where it's not going to take your audience at all. This was a combat sport. Like, why would you do that? That's the dumbest move ever.
Well,
that was a solid UFC card, by the way.
In their defense, right, they had the date first.
Well,
boxing.
Yeah. Well, maybe they could have talked to UFC and said, "Hey, what gives?"
Well, here's the problem. Espinosa doesn't get along with Dana White. That's the problem. So it's dumb. It would behoove these boxing promoters to probably have a good relationship with Dana White, because I'm sure if you had a conversation with him, he probably would have moved the card.
I think so. But
because
why do they not like each other? I don't understand that. They're both in the same type of business.
Because they take shots. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Dana White, but these boxing promoters kind of take shots at him a little bit. Steven Espinosa takes shots at him. Oscar De La Hoya took shots at him.
Yeah, I don't like.
So like whenever he says something, they question him. They try to insinuate that he's not telling the truth about certain things, and they try to discredit him on social media. And again, I don't dislike Dana White. I don't like everything he does, but I do respect the man. And these guys, they like De La Hoya telling people don't buy the Mayweather McGregor fight, and then meanwhile he was asking to fight McGregor himself. I mean, Come on, just like stop, bro. Stop being like again. I was not interested in this card at all, but I'm not going to go out like the card last night. I should say, but we don't go out and tell people, oh, you're an idiot if you buy this. Don't buy it. We don't do that. Everyone.
I'll tell you, I'm not buying it. I don't care if you buy it.
If I don't like it, I don't buy it. That's up to me. I will never ever openly campaign against any event. I just don't think. I think that's anti-American. That's anti-capitalism. Mm-hmm. I don't do those things. I stand for something.
Well, yeah, I would say that. Shoe Shine Boxing says they didn't sell the fight well to the masses, partly because both fighters just don't do social media well, and PBC had lazy promotions. Well, PBC uses Swanson. I think Kelly Swanson or whatever to do their promotions.
I'm not a big fan of hers.
But there wasn't a lot of promotion for this. I thought there was really a lack of buzz for this fight coming in. I
will say this though. Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, I think, did a good job, like hitting the podcast scene, the big YouTube channels. Terrence Crawford was on the radio stations. He was on like Hot 97. He was on the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
And I thought Terrence Crawford, this is just my opinion, and I was very happy to see this. I think earlier in his career, a lot of people weren't giving him the credit, whether it be in the press or boxing fans. And I think he resented that. So he went out of his way to say, why am I going to talk to you if no matter what I tell you, you're going to write negative things about me anyways. Once this fight was announced, I thought, he changed a little bit. He was happy. Like, finally, I got it. Like, now people were turned like, oh, because, you had the two sides, one side blaming Crawford for the fight not happening, one side blaming Spence for the fight. So once the fight was signed, sealed, I thought that was just a big anvil off Terrence Crawford's back. And I just saw a difference in him throughout this promotion. He seemed more outgoing. He seemed more friendlier. He was doing more interviews. He was hitting the pot. Like he was really stepping it up. And I was happy to see that.
We've seen more Terrence Crawford for this fight than we have any other fight.
I think Terrence Crawford went above and beyond.
Yeah, I do too.
Promoting this fight, and Spence always does.
Spence always does.
Spence always that goes without saying with Spence. He always does a good job promoting fights. Again, both guys are to me anyways, they're very likable people. I like both guys a lot. That's why I had a hard time, like when I was breaking this fight down. I didn't want to sound like I was like discrediting or disparaging Spence at all, but I couldn't lie about what I was seeing, and I couldn't lie about how good I thought Crawford was.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I had to tell the truth.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and go to the phones here. 530. Robert, you're live. Jesus.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Good.
What are you doing? Choking on a chicken bone or something?
It was like
we go to you. Be prepared, man. What is that?
I am, man. I don't know what planet you're on.
I hope you're not doing something else back there. But anyways, come prepared here. Did you buy that pay-per-view yesterday?
And absolutely not.
You're a liar. You are a liar. Mrs. Herrick was texting me during that pay-per-view, telling me how good Amanda Serrano. She was texting me how good Amanda Serrano looked. So don't lie to me and tell me you didn't buy it.
She doesn't have your number, so good luck.
Wow.
Good luck with that.
She got it off of your phone because she's always checking your phone because she knows how you are. But go ahead.
Yeah, right. No, Joe, you say all this to me, and I was going to totally say I totally agree with your arguments here.
Oh, for Christ! Well, what else is new?
Yeah. Well, Eric, you don't have a good leg to stand on at this point.
On what?
I mean, come on.
On what?
He's making good points about all this.
On what?
USADA crap.
Oh, shut up. Are you for real? Oh, so you believe in this whole conspiracy theory too? You think that VADA just wants to be in the spotlight?
I totally believe somebody's screwing up somewhere. Why are they going out of their way to
Why is it always the same fighters? Why is it always the same fighters getting it?
Conor Ben never
Why
tested
is it always
positive.
the same fighters?
Conor Ben only tested positive once. Oscar Valdez only tested positive once. Canelo Alvarez only tested positive
That's
once.
correct.
And here's the common denominator.
That's
Always
correct.
the same fighters.
VADA.
Testing positive.
VADA, the bargain basement, the Yugo.
Why?
Yeah.
Why are they the same fighters? No matter who tests them, always coming up
It's not
positive.
the same fighters. It's not the same fighters.
It is the same fighters. Three
Canelo
times, B.
The only
Canelo
one,
Alvarez.
Eric, the only one that's gotten caught 3 times is Dillian White.
And only
Yeah,
twice.
that's a big deal, right?
And twice in boxing.
That was my
and
point.
twice in boxing, and the other time he was cleared by
Nah.
the British Border Control. He was cleared.
Kickboxing.
You don't
It was a
count that.
different sport. He got popped in.
I mean, they don't really have good testing in kickboxing.
Real quick. Boxing, thank you so much, my friend. He wants to know, there's a question for Robbie. What does Robbie think of Beeb's secret admirer?
Oh, I can't stand that dude.
Wow.
I mean, that dude calls in every week. And he adds nothing to the show. 0.
Wow. And he's got nothing but nice things to say about you, Robert.
I mean,
So very nice.
and Eric's trying to give him caller of the year, and he doesn't have one single.
Listen,
boxing
don't be
point.
jealous. How many caller of the years do you have?
Robbie,
You have a ton on your shelf
Oh,
over there.
I
Come
don't-
on,
why don't you-
stop it.
why don't you
I
get-
don't know.
Don't be jealous.
Robbie, why don't you continue telling Eric how smart I am? Go ahead.
Well, no, Joe. In this case, unfortunately, you're right on point. I mean, there's something strange going on because, like you've stated, all the other sports have used the one that everybody pays. Now, I'll give you a perfect example. Remember when baseball had their whole steroids thing going on? They used VADA, and Ryan Braun of the Milwaukee Brewers got his test result overturned because of bad collection data.
Thank
Who did we
you.
use? The same
Thank
one-
you.
That's
the
one.
Same one that, the
Connor
same
Ben's
one
another
that
one.
VADA
Dillon White
does
and them
baseball
just
too?
do.
They did it one time.
Yeah, they
They
did.
only did it one time. And then they got fired. You know why?
Yeah.
Because they fucked up the collections in that test and they got overturned. And guess
Because-
what? That was the
Because
one
they took the
time.
big stars out of baseball. That's all.
No, Robbie, didn't
What?
VADA get. Does baseball use
Who-
VADA anymore, Robbie?
Who does baseball use
VADA
now?
anymore?
No, they don't. No,
Yeah,
they,
who does-
No, they don't. Not after that.
Who does
Not
baseball
after
and
Thank you,
football
Robbie.
now? Who does those two? Is that
They
USADA?
they don't have
USADA.
third party.
USADA.
Oh, they don't have third party. You just said they don't have third party,
If
Robert.
they did. If
No,
they
but
did,
what they
would
do-
use USADA after-
What they do is sometimes they'll bring in, like, for specific cases, they will bring in like an agency, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
VADA. So our VADA already has a history of fucking up collections, right, Robbie?
Stop it.
Right, Robbie?
You know
Yep.
how many collections do
Absolutely.
they do? That's a ton of collections. It's going to be some.
Stop caping. You're not going to get an endorsement from them. They're not going to give you a
No,
sponsorship.
They
They're
applied
not-
last
you're not-
week. I
you
applied
are
last
not-
week. They're going to give me that job. I'll
You're
tell
not
you that.
Victor Conte. You are not going to get a sponsorship.
Robbie,
Go
would
ahead,
you work
Robbie.
for VADA? Like holding the P cup and stuff
No.
like that?
Never.
Like, what would you do?
I would never work for them. They're
Would you?
incompetent.
What would you be? Would you work for USADA?
100%.
Would you stand in there while the guy's
No.
taking a pee?
I mean, I would stand there, but I wouldn't make any. I wouldn't make any
Would you
physical
make-
contact.
Who was the
Would
dude?
make any
Remember the,
physical
remember the
contact.
dude who went in the bathroom and made conversation with that one fighter? They were sitting at the urinal. He was talking to him.
I mean, I wouldn't make any physical contact. That's not how I roll. but-
He's a physical contact.
And I don't like the fight, B, but I think you're right. I think it's going to be Derek Chisora, and I think the card will still be allowed to go on because remember, with his own in the UK, this fight was supposed to be a pay-per-view. So they're going to want to put a name on that everybody would pay for. I think it will be Derek Chisora. I don't like the fight, but I think that's who it'll be.
Well, let me ask you a question, Robbie. Would this fight have been any like Anthony Joshua versus Dillon White, Anthony Joshua versus Derek Chisora? Is it really that much different of a fight at this point?
Not really, because if Joshua
They're both
doesn't
shot
look good,
fighters.
no matter who
They
it
say-
is,
They're both shot fighters.
It's the same fight.
not really, because if he does not look good against whoever he fights, he won't get that Deontay Wilder fight in December.
I disagree. I disagree completely. I think if he looks like garbage, he
Eric-
absolutely gets that Deontay Wilder fight. Absolutely, no questions asked.
Why would Saudi Arabia pay for somebody off of 2 bad performances?
Why would Saudi Arabia pay like $1 billion for that soccer player? Because they got the money. They don't care. They're two big names, son. They're overpaying for everything right now. They are. They're overpaying for everything. You know this.
Yeah, I know they are. I know they are. $1 billion for
stop being
soccer
intellectually dishonest. Then
I don't know why you're trying to question Robbie, man. He's always been he's always been very insightful when he's on the show.
Boxing, thank you so much. We appreciate it. He has another question for Robbie. He said, "Is Robbie jealous of the Secret Admirer?"
No, hell no.
Guys gotta start cutting Robbie some slack, man.
Jeez.
Guys gotta start cutting Robbie some slack, man. He's making a lot of sense today. Let him burn.
Hey,
Robbie corks his phone for advantage.
I do my best, and I love that Oscar Valdez Navarrete fight on Saturday. I think that's going to be a great fight.
That's a good fight.
That'll be the fight of the weekend, in my opinion.
All right, Robert. Your call was subpar today. I got to be honest with you. It was very subpar.
Emmanuel Rodriguez should look good on Saturday, too. So,
what did you think of the Amanda Serrano and Heather Hardy fight?
I don't care about that.
Wow.
Mrs. Herrick was on the edge of her seat texting me. She FaceTimed me. Telling me, Joe, look how great Amanda looks. I'm not lying.
That's her voice. That's the voice you use for Mrs. Herrick.
I mean, I do the best I can.
Why don't you put some respect on her name?
I try.
All right?
I do the best I can with these.
Put some respect on her name.
I am a boxing analyst. I am not an impressionist. All right. I'm a boxing analyst.
All right, Robert. We're going to put you on hold. Hold on.
Thank you, Robert. Later. Excellent call.
Right. Baltimore 410. I am king. You're live.
What's happening?
Jerry.
Hi, Jerry. What's going on, Jerry?
Yeah, what's happening? Yeah. I got a question. I heard that the fight last weekend, Spence and Crawford didn't have any testing. Is that true?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I don't know. I would imagine. Don't they all have some testing?
I think they had the commission testing, but I don't. I think Jerry, you are correct. From what I heard, they did not have VADA testing. They did not have VADA testing.
Kind of telling.
It's interesting that they didn't have that for a big fight like that. And I guess because it could, there's a lot of money. You don't want any bad news before the fight. I get it.
I mean, subpar testing organization.
Yeah, but you would think that they would want to make sure the athletes are clean. Yeah. And I thought it was mandated for a big title fight like that. But from what I hear, there wasn't any, which is a little telling. Not to throw shade on either one, because if one didn't want it, the other one would have had to agree to it. So, but my view on PEDs and things like that is simple. If you look over the history of the PED era and you look at who's popped 30, it's like a who's who of boxing. From Roy Jones to Canelo Alvarez, James Toney, Fernando Vargas, Dillon White. I mean, there's tons that I'm missing. Guys that Shannon Briggs. I mean, it's like some of the biggest names that have been in the sport. I personally think that almost all of them are taking something. They're almost all taking something. And when they get popped, so you figure all the ones that got caught, think about the ones that didn't get caught, because when they take these drugs, they also take masking drugs to mask them. And the protocol for it, like Eric said, it seems to be all over the place. They got day of drugs you can take right up to the day of the fight or the week before the fight. It just seems like it's what boxing is and has always been. It's corrupt. They're a part of the corruption. I don't know what the answer is, but that's what I'll feel on that. And to move on quickly, Anthony Joshua, if you ask me, would be smart to set it out. Last time he took a fight on a last-minute replacement, we've seen what happened to him. Now, on paper, he should whip Chisora. But there's big fights in the offing with Wilder and possibly Fury. And I don't typically like short notice fights for anybody, but particularly AJ. Because what I've heard about AJ is he gets performance anxiety. I heard that's what happened to him. He had an anxiety attack prior to the fight with
on the Ruiz fight. Yeah,
now, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Yeah,
that was the rumor anyway.
But that was the rumor, and I heard that about him before. And it does seem like he mentally, if he's right, he's probably capable of beating anybody. But he has those weak moments. Lots of athletes have performance anxiety. People don't recognize it because the bright lights come up and the announcers start announcing, and average sports fans don't see it. But it happens in all sports, and if it happens in boxing, it's detrimental, right? So yeah, I don't know.
I heard Robbie has performance anxiety when the lights go off, but that's another topic. I'm sorry to interrupt you, though.
Well, he's going to get nervous with all those guys around, you know.
Thought I'd throw that in there, Jerry. I thought it would be good for effect, but I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
What's the matter with you?
Yeah, that was funny. But lastly, I want to say this. I'm getting tired of people crying about woe is me, Bud Crawford. Bud Crawford was the highest paid welterweight in the division with the weakest resume. Now, I'm not going to blame that on him. He was fighting the guys that his promoter put in front of him, but he was getting paid more, quite a bit more from what I've seen, than all the top guys that were at PBC who had better resumes because they were fighting each other. Thurman and Spence and Porter and Earl, they were fighting each other. Bud was getting paid more than anybody, and he wasn't fighting any of those guys. Then, in the last 2 years, he's been pretty much at the top of the pound-for-pound list, having only fought David Avanesian. Talking to people, his fans, it's not him. I'm not hating on Bud. It's more his fans. They keep crying that this guy's not been given his just due. Yes, that was a great performance last weekend. But the bottom line is, people are talking about, he beat Floyd Mayweather. He's the best thing that's ever strapped on gloves. I like Bud. He's a good fighter. But the fighters he fought prior to Earl Spence ain't nothing to write home about. Kavaliauskas, he ain't never been on anyone's pound-for-pound list. I don't think he's ever been a world champion. He's never even beat a former world champion. Same thing goes for David Benavidez and Avanesian. Khan was entirely washed up, and you could argue that Brook was too. Why? I mean, I don't know why, it's his fans more. But the hell of a fighter, I'm not trying to take credit from him. Personally, I don't think Spence was right. I don't want to see Spence again until he's fully checked out and passed every neurological test, because the guy has all the signs of a fighter that is damaged goods. And maybe he wouldn't have beat Bud Crawford anyway, but at this state that he's in, it's not even, we've seen, it's not even close. And so, Bud Crawford is what he is, but I got news for him, and I got news for his fans. If anyway wins that fight in a couple months, and he becomes a 2-weight undisputed 4-weight champion, he's going to jump Bud in the pound rankings.
There you go. All right, Jerry, we're going to get running. Jerry, bringing the heat today. He's bringing the heat.
That was a great call. This is probably one of the best calls you've ever had, man. Putting Eric in his place. Thank you.
What are you talking about?
I mean, after Coach C gave you that work, man. I mean, he beat you so bad.
Coach C is still hiding under the bed after
Coach C beat you so bad that you blocked his number from the switchboard.
Son,
that's what I heard.
Well,
that's what Human Resources told me.
That's what HR told you that. HR told you that, huh? Is that right? Lois
HR
and
told me that. He gave you the work, man. And they got rid of him.
I think it was the other way around.
All right, I got his number. I can still talk to him now.
Yeah, you got his number. All right, B. So let's get back to the news before we get back to the calls real quick. This is an odd one, B. This is a real odd one. This seems to happen like once every generation in at least one sport. Keith Thurman is considering fighting Claressa Shields in like a charity match where he says he will only use a jab. Claressa Shields actually called Keith Thurman out, and they're talking about actually having like an exhibition or something like that. What do you make of this? This is, I mean, like, Keith Thurman, listen, man, I'd like to see him, I thought he was done. I didn't know he was still like fighting still. He's on that Charlo plan where he's off for 2 years or whatever. I don't know, man, but like, what do you make of all this? This is just odd.
At first, I had the same reaction you're having right now. But after talking to the former New York State Athletic Commissioner, Randy Gordon,
yes,
he said to me, well, if they both came in and they said, well, this is what we're going to do. We're just going to go in there. We're going to, similar to what Tyson and Roy Jones did in an exhibition where they really didn't try to hurt each other.
There was no winner. Yeah.
Yeah, no winner. then he said he wouldn't be against it. And the more I think about it, it could be they could make a spectacle out of it. You know what I mean? Just go in there, have fun. And obviously, Keith Thurman wouldn't go all out, and Clarissa Shields probably, even if she did go all out, it wouldn't matter.
Would go all out. Yeah,
it wouldn't matter anyway. So, if they go in there and just move around, just have a like an event type, spectacle type exhibition, I'm not against it. And
you think it brings in a lot of dough?
It could. I think it could.
I think it has a possibility to.
Yeah, because it's the first of its kind. Imagine that.
You remember that tennis match like way back in the day?
Was it
Bobby Riggs or something
Bobby
like that?
Riggs, yeah, Bobby Riggs
and,
versus
who's that
like
other
one of the
broad? He was yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean something like that, and that like captured like the nation. That was a big deal.
Yeah,
you know, and I'm wondering, you know, can this do the same thing? I mean, nobody wants to see like Ike Turner get in there against, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You don't want to see, this is tennis is one thing, basketball is one thing. This is a completely different thing. You're seeing a guy hit a girl, which has been taboo for, a long time. But
again, if it's just if it's just kind of like an exhibition where they're just moving around. I mean, she spars with guys anyways.
Jean King,
versus Bob Barry's. She spars with guys anyways, and she kind of swears that they're going full speed on her. Guess what? They're not going full speed on you. So if they do something similar to that, it could be entertaining, you know.
Yeah, listen, man. There's so much physical difference.
Yeah, we don't even
between men and women and athletes at that level.
Yeah,
and women athletes and men athletes. There's so much difference. Like I don't want to see that. I don't want to see Keith Thurman smacking her around.
No, and that's not. And Eric, I can assure you that's not going to happen. You're not going to see that if they even did decide to do this. In my opinion, I just don't think that would happen.
You think Keith Thurman would land a punch on her, or just try to keep her off with a jab?
I think he would.
Anything meaningful?
I think he would not land a meaningful punch. I think all the punches he would land would not be hard. They'd be like at 20%.
What if she hits him and she hurts him? Say she hits him to the body or something like that, and she hurts him. Does he then let it go? You know what I mean?
In my opinion, that's a big what. Go? Yeah, in my opinion, that's a big what if, because she can't even knock out females. How's she going to hurt him?
Stop it.
I mean, she has. How many knock? He hasn't enough.
For some dap, huh? She's a woman. Respect.
I mean, we have to we have to report the statistics.
What's the matter with you?
We have to report the statistics accurately. You think I want to get sued for defamation?
You're about to get me too'd is what's going to happen. The thoughts and none of this is our. This is belongs.
Already
to
been me too'd. I'll probably get me three'd.
Me three'd.
at this point.
Yeah, I just, you kind of wonder, because everything is all fun and games until you get hit. And it's like that anytime, man. Like, you could be horsing around with your friend or something like that, and he throws a punch and it hits you the wrong way or hits you a little bit too hard, and you're going to retaliate. It's just the way it is, Do you
remember when Muhammad Ali used to do exhibitions with just actors and regular people?
Yeah,
and it would be the same thing as that. Like, there was nothing to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's just my opinion.
Is this something you think would be good for the sport, bad for the sport? I never think it's good to see a man hit a woman, sport or no sport. I just don't think it's good.
It would be like when China fought Chris Jericho in the WWE.
Yeah, but we know that's all scripted, though.
Well, we know, but deep down we know that Keith Thurman's not really going full speed and trying to hurt her either. Deep down inside, we knew Roy Jones and Mike Tyson really weren't trying to hurt each other either.
I don't know. He hit him with some big body shots.
I could tell he was pulling his punches, man. I mean, you like to, you're a little bit more naive than me. So no offense to you.
I live with these rose-colored glasses on, Beeb. You
don't have you don't have the educated eye like
I don't have that street. You know what I mean? That street. That street IQ.
Yeah, the street IQ.
So you're all for this. You're all for this. You're down with this.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't have a problem with it.
Did you? Okay, so you heard about this whole thing with Elon Musk and what's his face, the guy from Facebook or whatever,
Zuckerberg. Yeah.
That fight, it sounds like it's going to happen. I mean, like, I don't know if there's any date or anything's locked in. Dana White said he's thinking about charging $100 for that pay-per-view, like having the money go to charity or something like that.
Yeah, I'd buy it.
That's a bad precedent to set. Yeah, I think Zuckerberg kills him, though.
I think Zuckerberg kills him, too.
Yeah. He's in his 30s, isn't he, or 40s? And, like, Elon Musk is like 52 or something like that.
Yeah, Elon Musk is like my age.
Yeah, there ain't no way. Zuckerberg, you seen him, like, do the jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, he's in great shape.
He's a blue belt. I think he's a blue belt. He's pretty good.
He's in great shape.
If you make it to blue belt, you're pretty good. And that's only the second belt up, and he only goes up from there.
What are the belts in jiu-jitsu?
So the white belt, the blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, and black belt. But it takes you there's been people doing it for like 15 years or so.
What belt are you?
I was just a white belt. That's all I was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How long did you do it for?
About a year. I think about a year.
Okay.
Maybe a little, but not like consistent. Like,
but you still were glad you took it though, because you learned a lot.
Oh yeah, you learn a ton. It's amazing, like the stuff that you learn in there, like just as a white belt, because you got different levels of white belt. You know what I mean? And they're all good. I mean, like everybody in there, like the stuff that you learn, the stuff that you learn it really fast, and it's good because you're always sparring. That's where you learn the most, is in the sparring. So
I wonder what belt Joe Rogan is, because I don't hear
he's a black belt.
Is he?
He's a black belt under Eddie Bravo, and I think he's a black belt under Eddie Bravo, which is no-gi, and he's also a black belt. Maybe he gets with Machado. I'm not really. I might be wrong on that, but yeah, he's a two belt. He's a two belt black belt. Because one, with the 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, you do without a gi. And with the other jiu-jitsu, with Brazilian jiu-jitsu, you do it with a gi. So he's trained on both.
It's probably harder without. Is it harder without the gi?
Yeah, because the thing is with a gi, you can grab, and there's a variety of chokes you can do, like the collar choke you can do with the gi. There's a lot of chokes you can do, but without a gi, that's more like UFC stuff, because you don't have anything to grab onto. You have to be in position, and you have to get everything in there and stuff like that. So yeah,
understood.
Yeah, so it's a little bit different, but and it's just enough. It's just like different enough that as far as which one is better, they're both great. So let's see here. Chantel Cameron and Katie Taylor will rematch on November 25th in Dublin. Any interest in that one?
Yeah, I like that fight, actually. Come on, Eric.
Come
on, that was a good fight. Please. Gotta show the women some sort of respect. Katie Taylor is a good fighter, man. She is
a good fighter. She's about it. And then Jamal Charlo is the one that got slapped, or that pushed the female security guard. He got slapped by Caleb Plant. He was having a banner week there. I didn't see the video until after the fact, not the Caleb Plant. And it did, you know what? When I did rewind that Caleb, it looked like he might have slapped him. I can't tell.
He slapped him. It
looked like a slap, when I got a different angle and stuff like that on it. And then you saw Charlo being escorted out of there. I guess he was trying to get past security, and security says, "Hey, wait a minute," And he just walked right past him, and there was this lady saying, "Hey, I need your credential or whatever." And you see him just like push her against the fence. And I'm like, what in the world? Why would you do that? And he looked compromised that entire weekend.
There's something wrong with him.
Yeah.
There is something wrong with him.
Yeah. He didn't look like himself. He looked like he was definitely under the influence. This is what he looked like. Now, whether he was or wasn't completely, I don't know. But he appeared, to my eyes anyway, to look like he was under the influence.
What troubles me, and I'm sure there's something wrong with him, I just get frustrated when they just say, "Oh, well, I got mental health issues."
Yeah.
Has he been diagnosed? What condition does he have? Has he been medicated? Like has he been analyzed? Has he gone to a doctor, right, to be diagnosed? What's going on here? Because if none of those things have been done, then how does he get better? If he just says that I have some issues and he's not getting them treated,
right,
and they don't know what the issue is, So can anyone just say, "Hey, I got mental health issues. I don't have to go to work today. I can get disability because I have mental health issues. I don't have to work anymore." Like at my job, at your job, we would have to get a doctor's note.
You
and
have
somebody,
to do something. Yes.
Yes, but we would have to be able to prove that we have something wrong with us.
Right.
But apparently in boxing, all you have to do is just say I have mental health issues, and you can remain champion. You can pull out of fights.
Years. We looked it up before the fight. 2 years and 2 months is the last time he fought.
That's ridiculous.
And he still got the title? What? How is that possible?
It's crazy.
I don't even understand how that's possible.
It's crazy.
I don't get it. 773. You're live.
You know, when I knew boxing was dog shit, whenever Jarrell Big Baby Miller took
Baby
everything
Miller.
in the kitchen sink, HGH, EPO, multiple failed drug tests, and they gave him a 2-year and said, you'll be back in 2. That should have been a lifetime ban right there.
Absolutely.
That cocktail in the system, that should have been a lifetime ban.
Completely
And
agree.
you know, you got this Conor Benn stuff. Oh, just go away for a little bit, and then we're gonna sweep it under the rug. Oh, he's cleared. Oh gosh, nothing to see here. It's a joke. You know what I say though? What you guys thoughts on that before I get to my next point?
What's this? What did he say?
I don't know. He said something about what do you think my next point is?
What is your next point?
No, I said, what do you guys thoughts on that regarding the drug test? Drug testing in boxing. I said,
my thing is when they drug test, they don't always suspend the guy. Sometimes they let the fights go on, and I don't understand that. If you're going to hire these guys, then accept the results you get. You know, if they say he's cheated, then listen, follow the rule. It's your rule you're implementing, nobody else's. It's your rule. So, you know, if he tests positive, then, you know, but again, we've seen this before where they try to make excuses and they give him the excuses instead of just saying, hey, it's cut and dry. If you fail the drug test, then you fail the drug test. To me, there is no gray area there. It's black and white. You either failed or you didn't fail. The other guy didn't fail, but you failed, then you're out of the fight. Enforce it. And I think that's where a lot of the issues come in.
How they could do this. Oh, they popped, but it was a faulty test, or it was contaminated, or they have all these excuses, like you said, and you just don't know. You don't know what to believe, because sometimes you see this in the MMA, UFC in particular. They say it's always in a protein bottle. They've got it at GNC, and then they have to test the protein. And then it's just a scam. It's a total scam. It seems like.
Yeah, I agree.
But people buy into it. They say, "Oh, he's cleared. He's cleared."
Listen, man, it's up to them to know what they put in their body. No excuses. They're the stop point. Full stop. It stops with them. If I give you something and you didn't read it, or you don't know what you're taking, then that's on you. That's not on anybody else. That's on you. But we give them outs, and there shouldn't be no outs.
You should test it.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's places that's what they can do.
You know, I got to talk about it.
They can take the bottles. They can take the bottles of whatever they take and submit them. They have to submit the list anyway. They can ask questions. They can. I mean, the VADA's always, all those drug testing. They're always readily available for you to ask questions. So there's no reason why, you know, this had to happen other than he was cheating, which is the logical reason. There you go.
You're the one caller, Rich. He made a good point with all these dudes popping. I didn't realize when he started naming off all these names, and there's some big names, man. Some of the biggest names in the sport. And
absolutely.
It's just one thing after the other.
There you go.
I got to get to my last point. Title Town, baby. Title Town. What do you think?
Jake Paul, son.
Jake
Paul, baby. Logan Paul won his match at SummerSlam.
That's right.
Jake Paul won his match last night. Ohio owns the U.S. That's how it is. Nothing I can do about that. I mean, the way it is just the way it is. Can't do anything.
He'll retire soon.
I was entertained.
Undefeated Jake Paul, by the way.
I mean, it wasn't the prettiest, but
yeah, a lot of people said it was a good fight. I didn't really care for it, but it was. I mean, for what it was, yeah. I mean, for what it was, yeah. Didn't mind it too much.
What I liked about it is he got tested. I mean,
yeah,
he was getting. You could tell he was tired, and Nate's the type of guy who doesn't go away. He's going to be there the entire time. You got to put him to sleep, and he didn't go to sleep. He was still there, conditioning off the chain. It was in his face to the very end, and Jake was. You can tell he had to grit through that. That's what I like about it.
Yeah,
he gritted it out, got the decision. Obviously, it's not world class or anything like that. We saw that against Tommy Fury, but I'm still impressed. I'm still entertained.
Cardio was good.
Haters can hate all they want. They can say
it was an average performance.
Everybody hates on Ohio. Everybody hates on Ohio. What are you going to do when Ohio State wins a national championship this year? You know, it just is.
The way I look at it was an average performance.
Stop it.
What it is.
Stop it. All right, Kevin, we're going to get running, man. Thank you so much for the call.
All right, boys. Y'all be good.
You too. 760, you're live. And then B, we have a special call for you coming up. 760, you're live.
Hey, I thought I was the special call. What's going on, fellas?
What's up, Brian?
Yeah, not really the special call. We got Beeb's admirer on the phone. We're going to call him Big Texas. He's from Texas on the panel. We're going to call him Big Texas.
I mean,
Texas is waiting on the line for Beeb.
That's crazy.
I hope you let Brian get his stuff off this week, man. I mean, you've been cutting him off like crazy lately.
Go
ahead, Brian.
He always doing that to me, man.
I was trying to cut you off.
All right,
man.
Brian, we're going to get running here, buddy. We're going to get running. We got another call on the line.
No, Eric. No, not this time. I'm about to put you on blast, Eric. You told me.
Are you upset about Pee Wee Herman passing away?
Wow.
What's this?
No, I don't know nothing about Pee Wee Herman, man. That's your boy, right?
He was before your time. He was before your time. I was sad. I'm not going to see him in theaters anymore. That's crazy.
He was during my time, but I didn't watch this dude right here. I know you was sad though. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was bad, man. I cried for a little while.
To hear that, man.
I did. I cried. Shed some tears.
Yeah, I know, man. It was sad.
Hearing the song Tequila will never be the same for me.
What's really sad though?
It's called
Dillian Whyte, man. What the hell happened? So it's not going to be no fight this weekend or next weekend. Actually, it's called off. Is it official?
No, it sounds like Chisora. We're guessing Chisora is gonna stay in. Is gonna be the one to replace Dillian Whyte.
Oh, okay. So the show's still gonna go on. Okay,
yeah, that's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like.
What you got? Okay. Let me ask you guys this then. If that's the case, you think that's risky with Anthony Joshua? This guy is. Oh man, he make me nervous every fight, man. I don't care.
Who, Chisora?
Who it's against?
Chisora?
No, yes, Anthony Joshua, man. Because
let me tell you something.
Isn't this whole thing?
It's a huge risk for Anthony Joshua. It is a huge risk. What if he comes out of his dressing room, slips on a banana peel, and breaks his leg? Can't make it to the ring. That's a huge risk. As far as Derek Chisora, once he gets to the ring, I think the fight's over. I don't think Derek Chisora is worn. He's a shot fighter. Dillian Whyte was a shot fighter. I wasn't excited about this fight at all. Listen, this is easy work. This is easy work for AJ.
I hope AJ goes out there and just lays them out. He don't even get touched, and then we
trainer of the year, Derek James in AJ's corner. Come on, man. Who's winning this fight?
I don't know, man. I don't know. They taking a risk, man, with AJ. They're rolling the dice with AJ all day, man.
Beeb,
I want to believe.
Are we going to have to do a pie bet on this fight?
Okay.
No,
Ryan, are we going to have to do a pie bet on this fight?
I ain't doing no. Bet on who?
You're going to bet on Chisora?
Bet on who? Chisora?
I'll take AJ.
No.
Yes.
No, I'm not going to bet on Chisora.
Oh, that's cold. We'll keep buying Beeb clothes, man. I'm trying to make a man out of you. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to man you up here. You don't want to do it. What am I supposed to do? Listen, I've tried my best to make you a man.
Bet on Chisora,
all right,
man. Listen. If I'm going to bet on somebody, I'll put some money on AJ, okay? I'll put some money on AJ.
Yeah,
I'll
AJ's
take that
AJ's
bet.
winning
You want
this
to bet
fight,
on
son.
your store? I ain't betting on it.
Yeah, AJ's winning this fight,
But
son.
don't AJ still make us? He still make us nervous, though, don't he? He just, especially with this whole thing, somebody else filling in, just like this is almost identical to the big baby Miller. That's the one, right?
It is and it isn't, because it's the
thing.
same where he gets a new opponent, but the quality of the opponent is
Right.
nowhere near. We all knew Andy Ruiz could fight. Derek Chisora, we know, is washed. He's washed. That's it. He's not going to be competitive in this fight.
Thank you. Just make me feel better, because
There
I
you go.
know
That's why I'm
once
here.
this fight is over,
You're emotional
then
sky cap
it's
here.
going to be the AJ. Thank you, man. Thank you. That's why I need you on the line, Eric. Good looking out, man. 'Cause
Right. That's what
we
I'm
got
saying.
something to look forward to. Okay.
Absolutely.
AJ
That's why I'm
versus
here.
Wilder. That's next.
Yeah, I hope that's next.
We got to make sure AJ comes out okay.
Can you imagine,
We
Beeb,
got to
if
make sure he's
AJ
okay.
and Wilder come off, and if Fury and Usyk, I don't think are coming off this year. But can you imagine if AJ Wilder comes off this year? Biggest year in boxing, period.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but it
Period.
probably won't happen until like January or February, though.
Listen,
Hey.
come January, they can drop a bomb, whatever. Listen, I've seen this year, and it's been great. I'm good. I can die happy. This is unbelievable year. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
The best year in boxing history.
Oh, yeah. And it's not finished. It's not even finished.
It's only
yet. We
halfway
still got
through.
more to go.
Only halfway
We still got
through.
more to go.
I love it. I love it.
Boxing been blowing out every sport, though. Don't you agree? Basketball, basketball, football. I like football.
Yeah.
I still like football. I ain't gonna talk shit about football.
Yeah, wait till you see Ohio
Everything
State
else,
this year.
Maybe not soccer, but
Heisman Trophy winners in Ohio State, the
Oh,
national
yeah.
championship coming back to Ohio.
right.
Unbelievable. The Bengals are going to win the
I
Super
hate
Bowl
to
this
say it,
year.
I just watched USC.
Unbelievable.
I'm sorry to tell you, I just watched USC and Raiders and Lakers. You know,
Yeah.
I'm.
Well, stop
You don't
banging your
wanna
head
be
against
me
the wall
right
and turn
now.
on
That's
you
all I
Ohio
know.
State, man. I mean, listen, you got to be like just banging your head against the wall and everything like that, watching those sorry teams. Listen, there's plenty of room on this bandwagon.
Yeah, you don't want to. You don't want to be.
Put
me
your hat
right
on
now,
and come on
okay?
to
You don't
come
wanna
on
be
in for
me
the big
right
win. You know what I'm saying?
I can't do it, man. I can't do it. I only stay with one side. You feel me? Hey, but look. Let me tell you guys, man. I'm going to 5 fights this year at the T-Mobile. Who's fighting at the T-Mobile? Okay, I know we got Charlo, Canelo. Who else is at the T-Mobile this year?
You're going there? You going to see that fight?
Yeah, I just said I'm going to 5 fights. I don't even know who the fights are. The only one I know is Charlo and Canelo. Who else is fighting at T-Mobile?
I don't know.
That's why I'm asking you guys.
Check the schedule, man. I mean, you're the one that's going.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah, you're going. Don't you know?
You want me to-
Do you have tickets for these fights yet? Or
what
are
do you
you
want me
just
to-
like hoping to get in? Or
What do you want me to do next? Book your
you
flights while
working
you're
security
Look,
over there?
man.
What are you doing?
What do you want me to do?
Adam.
Book your flights while I'm at it? Whether like you
I'm
look
just
like you're
asking.
Come on,
freaking.
BB sends
You
you
guys-
clothes. Why don't you
you
do something for
guys
him?
know-
By the way, you know.
Listen, you guys. I'm asking the reporters because you guys are Ringside Reporter. You got all the scoop.
Are you
I
kidding?
don't know. You get it before
Do you
me.
think I work for the T-Mobile Arena and I know I have their schedule memorized
I
in my
wouldn't
brain?
depend. I wouldn't depend on me for anything. You don't depend on me for anything. Are you kidding me?
I mean, I'm wrong. I'm
Screw
wrong.
up.
I'm wrong
Every
50% of the
Sunday.
time.
Hey, listen, I depend on you guys every Sunday to give me the report, okay?
Are you
guys
kidding?
are the Ringside Reporter. You
I
give
gotta
me
call
boxing
Beeb
news
15
every
minutes before the
Sunday,
show just to
and I
wake him
do
up.
depend on you, okay?
I gotta call Beeb like 15 minutes before the show just to wake
You
him
better
up.
wake
I'm not much better. I
I'm
just woke
counting
up.
on you guys, okay? Every Sunday I'm depending on you guys to bring me all the scoop, okay? Let me know the schedule. I'm counting on you guys, all right? That's
All right.
how it is.
Well, I
I'm
feel
counting
bad
on
for you. I'll
guys.
tell you that.
Give me the schedule.
All right,
Try to
Brian,
do-
we're gonna get running here. Thank you so much for the call.
All
He doesn't
right.
want to do a pie bet, Beeb. He doesn't want to do a pie bet.
No, you won't do it.
I'm trying to make him a man. I'm failing miserably. Failing, Beeb. Manny Gatillo, you're completely wrong. And the Bengals are winning the Super Bowl this year, son. Beeb has butterflies waiting for Big Texas. Here he is. Big Texas, this is Beeb's admirer from the panhandle of Texas. Beeb, come on, get in the view. Come on, don't be like this. Big Texas, 806, you're live.
Hello, everybody.
How are you?
Hello, Beeb.
Hello, Beeb.
I have a poem ready for Beeb.
Yes.
I have worked all week, staying up all night. But
awesome.
I discarded that. I trashed it. I had to start all over.
I get it.
So I have something new for him. I have a new poem for him.
Love's a funny thing.
So I hope you're ready.
Love's a
all
funny
right,
thing.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go. Here we go. Roses are red and violets are blue.
Oh, yeah.
Beeb, Robbie is jealous of me and you.
Oh.
And now I want to dedicate a song.
Yes.
I'd like to dedicate a song to Beeb. I hope everybody enjoys it, but this is for Beeb.
I know we're going to
enjoy it. What matters that I do enjoy Beeb.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Please go. I don't hear him.
And I hold you tight and go deep as you like. I'll make love to you like you want me to. I'll hold you tight. And Robbie, you can watch all night.
Robbie's going to watch it. There we go. I love it. Big Texas, thank you so much. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. The poem, Beeb, that poem was solid poem, but the song, it melts my heart. I love the type of love that you have with Big Texas. I do. I love it.
It's awful.
It is nice to see this. You know, it is really nice to see this.
Please.
Beeb, Fluffy Toaster says Beeb has a wife and a boyfriend I can't even date. Listen, man, guys, girls, doesn't matter, man. Beeb, 8 to 80, blind, crippled, and crazy. Beeb's the guy. He's the guy. I love it, Beeb. I love it. That's the love that you guys share is beautiful. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. It's beautiful. It is. All right, guys, on that note, that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at jhabib1, or is it X now? It's X
I think
now,
it's
right?
X, yeah.
I think it's X. You can catch him on X, formerly known as Twitter. Find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporterlive.com, and you can find me at ringside73 on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. And we will see you guys next week.